This is Let Us Interrupt You, episode 243 here on Saturday, December 2nd, 2023. I am Joseph Olivo. College Football Championship Saturday for football here. A lot of great games on today. I'll give you the rundown for some of the games that were on today. We had this was the what championship game this was right here. This was the WAC championship, I believe this was today. As Boise State beat University of Las Vegas 44-20. They had the those for Mountain West Championship, so the MWC in this WAC. They used to be the WAC conference, now they're Mountain West. Boise State did get the win on the road as a road opponent right now. They just destroyed University of Las Vegas. They just outgained it by a grand total of 527 to 298. Not sure why it's not getting the people here, but their quarterback, let's see here. This is Taylor. Was 12 for 15 for about 226 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. For University of Las Vegas, Malvia was 15 for 29, 166 yards, had no touchdowns and 2 picks in the loss for the University of Las Vegas. Let's see, and we're just gonna do the in this case here, week 14. I don't know why it's not giving me the rest of the scores here. That's kind of annoying. Here we go. I know there were more games on today. I'm not sure why they're not showing me the other games. SMU upset at Tulane today. It's 26-14. 22nd Tulane getting the upset. I was right about SMU. They pulled out the upset today over Tulane. Tulane today had their best stuff going, though. They did. First play of the drive for SMU started out like this. Jennings steps back to pass. He gets sacked from behind. Forced fumble by DL. Jennings fumbles recovered by DL. Jennings was one that got stripped from behind. The ball was down at the SMU 1-yard line. It led to the Pratt running in from 1 yard out, sneaking it into the end zone there, making it 7-0. This is how the game kept going here. Knighton, next drive for SMU, he gets 6 yards on a running play. Knighton again rushes for 8. Then Jennings drops back to pass. He fires to Daniels for a gain of 5. Then Jennings again throws it into made by Bailey. Gets a first down for SMU there. A couple plays later, Jennings throws it to Maryland there. He gets a good enough for a first down, 15 yards inside Tulane territory. And then they try to throw a pass to Hudson. That's incomplete. Misses a field goal there. So then Tulane gets the ball, but they're forced to punt. So they get the ball right back. And then Jennings throws a 9-yard play to Dixon. Then Jennings throws a pass to Daniels for about 32 yards there. Then Levine ran it for 6. Then Knighton runs in the end zone for a touchdown there. Tied the game at 7 apiece. That was a 5-play drive. Then SMU gets the ball back again after a Tulane punt. Trying to go for it on they got a 4th down conversion for 7 yards by Maryland again. Then Jennings on a 2nd and 12 from the Tulane 32. They get picked up. Their second turnover in the game. And Tulane was forced to punt again. Then another interception was thrown there. Game still tied at 7 after all that. Later on, 10-play, 65-yard drives kept up by SMU. And Jennings again to Smith for a 17-yard touchdown pass, 14-7. Then later on, Tulane gets a touchdown drive of their own. That's a 42-yard play to Brown. Game is tied now at 14 apiece. SMU kicks a field goal. They made 17-14. Then a 20-14 game later on. They had a touchdown there, another field goal there, and another field goal there. But SMU getting the win over Tulane, 26-14. They were able to outgain Tulane 396 to 294. Jennings was 19 for 33, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. But Tulane Pratt was 21 for 36, 238 yards, 1 touchdown, one pick there. That pretty much is how the game pretty much finished up right now. I'm going to try to open up on CBS Sports right now because I had the Fox Sports app open. It does not give me a really good play-by-play here. Like, it gives you the name, like on CBS Sports, the actual name of the actual quarterback here. It doesn't give you like a loading glitch issue. But here I'm going to just do it here on this site here. So I'm going to do all games here. Let's go on to Oklahoma State and Texas. 18th ranked Oklahoma State facing up against the Texas Longhorns. Quinn Ewers just lit it up today. This was a game that was unbelievable. I'm going to give you scoring drive by drive here. Ewers threw a 10-yard pass to Mitchell there. 7-0 Longhorns. Ewers again threw to Sanders, the tight end. 14-0. Then Bauman throws a 5-yard touchdown pass. Ewers throws a 2-yard pass to Tre'Davious Sweat, his first career touchdown as a defensive end. He was coming in there for extra protection. Baxter ran it in for himself from 10 yards out. Then Bauman threw a 7-yard touchdown pass. Ewers threw an 8-yard pass at Jaden Blue. Robinson ran in for 57 yards. And then Robinson ran in for 11 yards again. And then Bauman threw another 3-yard touchdown pass on a 10-play, 89-yard drive for about 4 minutes in the game. Texas ran the clock out. The Ewers in this game was unbelievable. 35 for 46, 452 yards, 4 touchdowns and a pick. He threw for 320 in the first half. And 4 touchdowns all in the first half. The Ewers out of that just threw for about 130 in the second half. But Texas just completely blew by Oklahoma State. They won their final Big 12 championship, possibly ever, unless they come back to the Big 12 in about 25 years or so. They were in the program for over 28 years. And it's kind of hard to believe at this point that the Longhorns are no longer going to be part of the Big 12 once 2024 rolls around. But Ewers today just made a statement. This was his best game of the year. Even Steve Stern actually just said it after the game that was his best game of the year. I by far this was not like I've watched Quinn Ewers play. I mean, I've seen him play better ball than this, like last year. Like he's had some ups and downs this year. For a team that really this kid just played like he had to prove a point. Like it was like a death wish winning that Big 12 championship. And it might as well have been for that whole team. I mean, Robinson had 4 carries for 75 yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. You had Baxter with 13 carries for 43 yards and a touchdown. Blue had 10 carries for 33 yards. The whole team in of itself had 40 running plays for 198 yards. That's at least right there 600 yards of total offense right there. For Oklahoma State, for Bauman, he was 22 for 38, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Ollie Gordon III had 13 carries for 34 yards. Not his best stuff. Presley had 9 catches for 93 yards. Owens had 4 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. Presley had the 1 touchdown late in the game. For Xavier Worthy, who was definitely heading the NFL draft, hurt his ankle or hurt his fibula, I believe, or it might have been his ankle, it might have been his calf. I'm not really 100% sure what it was. He's on crutches after the game. He had 6 catches for 86 yards. Sanders, the tight end, had 8 catches for 105, and Mitchell had 6 catches for 109 yards. Sanders and Mitchell both got a touchdown in the game. Blue had 3 catches for 38 yards and a touchdown as well. This was a great game for Texas, and this is one of the better games they've had all year against any Big 12 opponent they've had all year. Well, they're blowing out Texas Tech the week prior, but still, that was a huge win. That was a win they needed to have here in order for them to at least try to get into the college football playoff conversation. Michigan, Iowa currently on right now. They're in a 20-0 hold off right now. The only scoring that's been happening in this game was on Blake Corum's in his hands, really. J.J. McCarthy didn't throw the ball at all in the end zone this game. You want to know the numbers of this game, though, that really concern me? You're 20 for 27, and you only throw for 138 yards. I don't like that stat. I don't like that stat at all at this point. I mean, you have talented wide receivers on that team. I know they're a run-oriented team, but that's not good. Blake Corum, by the way, 12 carries for 33 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's another concerning thing, too, averaging 2.8 yards per carry. Edwards had 4 carries for 28 yards. Mullings had 3 carries for 15. Wilson had 1 catch for 14 yards. Edwards had 4 catches for 19 yards. Loveland had 3 catches for 22 yards. Michigan Wolverines, as they're up 20-0 right now. But Corbin, the only rushing touchdowns he's had in the game so far was a 2-yarder and a 6-yarder in the game. Both drives, one was 2 plays for 5 yards. That was after a turnover by Michigan. I believe it was on a interception, I'd want to say at this point, or a fumble. Not 100% sure. Actually, it was on after a punt, after a long punt return that set up the touchdown in the first place. It was like an 85 yards punt return, I think it was. So you had that one. The other touchdown drive was off of a fumble, but Michigan had a punt. And another fumble by Iowa, which led to a 6-yard touchdown run by Blake Corum again. So that's that's been the majority of the story of this game, is that there's been more tough defense by both teams here. They're not allowing a lot in this game. It's just short field, at a turnover by Iowa, or a bad special teams punt by Iowa, which is kind of sad, really. I mean, there's not really much to say about Michigan at this point. They're not really proving their worth here. And I know what people are thinking, like, oh, they're still going to be number 2 if they win the ranking here. I wouldn't be so sure about that. I really wouldn't be so sure about that. Right now at Florida State and Louisville, Tate Rodemaker got concussed in the game last week for Florida State, so he's not playing tonight. It is the one and only, I believe this is a Brock Glenn, who's 8 for 19 for 55 yards. And so far, it's not looking good for Glenn, because they just had I think they just had was it a turnover on down, I think, at this point. He ran for 12. Massarara rushed for 12, but he lost 11 yards in that play. I think it was here. I'm not sure what that was. Glenn got sacked. Just a lot of negative yards by Florida State right now. And right now, currently, they went for it, and I guess they went for fourth down from their own 23-yard line, which made no sense, but whatever. Dumb reasoning. I don't know what the story is, why they couldn't punt the ball, but, whatever. Really dumb decision there on their part, which now sets up Louisville up from the 13-yard line. And so far, the touchdowns in this game, not really a lot of it. Tofi got a 2-yard run, and there's been a couple of field goals for Louisville there. Not really much else to highlight from this game, really. The fact that Louisville now is in the red zone right now. And Plummer's 12 for 30 for 89 yards. Jack Plummer is 12 for 30 for 89 yards. You heard that right. I don't know. This might be his worst game he's ever had as a quarterback. If we're going to be realistic here from a stat standpoint, when you're 12 for 30 in college football or even professional, you suck. So we might, like I said before, I mean, I might even have to take this back now. Remember how I said Jack Plummer was the possible quarterback for the New England Patriots? Scratch that. Forgot I even mentioned that yesterday's podcast. Boy, was I wrong. Holy crap. 12 for 30 for 89 yards in an ACC title game where everything should be going your way, if you think about it. 12 for 30 for 89 yards. And the worst part of it is he's been sacked twice and lost 19 yards in passing yards. So technically he's 12 for 30 for 61 yards. That's a scary thought. That's a scary thought right there. That's what's going to happen in today's NFL. The quarterbacks are going to be so bad at this point, the defense won't get any credit for anything. They'll just be that terrible. If I'm right now at this point, if I'm the Patriots, I'm looking at Jordan Travis as the next quarterback from Florida State. That's what I would do. And now Jack Plummer officially is 12 for 31 for 89 yards, technically 61. Actually, technically he's 70 because he lost. Oh yeah, it's 70 yards. Yeah, I was wrong in the math there. He just threw an interception. Actually, it wasn't even an incomplete pass, it was an interception. So right after they just got a turnover on downs, he just threw a pick. So that's that. The one championship game that was on last night. Actually, let me get to the rest of the scores here quickly here. The MAC championship. Miami, Ohio has defeated Toledo here to give them their second loss of the year. They beat them 23-14. Smith was 6 for 16 for 109 yards, no touchdowns for Miami, Ohio, passing yards wise. For Finn, for Toledo, 18 for 36, 273, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. It wasn't not enough though to really get the win. This game was all about Amos for Miami, Ohio. He had 15 carries for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns in the game. For Albany, they beat Richmond 41-13. You got Villanova taking on Youngstown State University. They beat them 45-28. They will meet up in the FCS final round. It looks like it'll be Villanova and Albany going at it for the final round there. Furman beat Chattanooga 26-7. South Dakota beat Sacramento 34-24. San Diego State beat Mercer 41-0. North Dakota State beat Mountain State, I think 35-34. I think that's what the name of the school was. FAMU beat Pay-Per-View 35-14. I always call that school Pay-Per-View because it just sounds right. Troy beat Appalachian State in their championship game, the Sun Belt Championship, 49-23. And the Conference USA Championship last night, Liberty beat New Mexico State 49-35. I probably should have started with Oregon and Washington, which was the first game that was on last night before the other game was even on. Washington did get the win. This is how it started out here. Johnson ran in for 5 yards. I made it 10-0 Washington after their first drive was a field goal. Oregon drove down the field but could not get anything going. They got a field goal of their own, 10-3. Johnson, the wide receiver, threw a pass in the end zone to Bernard from 4 yards out there. That's on a 4-play, 75-yard drive. Made it 17-3. Bo Nix threw a 2-yard pass to Ferguson. Made it 20-10. That takes us to the half. Nix again threw a 2-yard pass to Ferguson for his second TD of the night. Then James ran in for 6 yards out. Johnson ran in from 1. Then Michael Penix Jr. threw it for Moore to put the game away. 34-24. Nix again threw a pass 59 yards to Powell. They say, or he say it was out at the 4, but it was confirmed as a 63-yard touchdown pass. They 34-31, but they could not get the ball back. Washington Huskies win the Pac-12 championship, their final Pac-12 championship in Allegiant Stadium last night in Las Vegas, 34-31. Bo Nix in the game, 21 for 34, 239, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. This is probably one of the worst games he's had all year. If I'm going to be realistic here for how bad of a night Bo Nix had last night, this was a bad night for Bo Nix. Did not throw the ball great at all. Was struggling throughout the night there against that Washington defense. Between Holden and having that one catch for 63 yards, he was shut down for mainly in the game. Franklin was shut down. Johnson was shut down in the game. Ferguson was shut down a lot in this game and really contained. That secondary for Washington came out to play. Their defense came out to play last night. They got the next pressuring wise, but they didn't sack him. They just pressured him a lot in that game, making decisions. Michael Penix Jr., 27 for 39, 319 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick in his final game. Johnson was 2 for 2 for 5 yards. Had a couple of passes in there, 1 for 2 yards. I think it was 1 for 3, I believe, as well. But yeah, Johnson for Washington, he ran for 28 carries for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. And what a statement win for Washington. I mean, you talk about a team that was 10-point favorites going into it here. They almost did get the win by 10. Unfortunately, Oregon had that late touchdown late, which was by Bo Nix. Bo Nix had that 63-yard, which is the only reason why he had 239, because without that 63-yard touchdown pass, you take that away, you would have been 21 for 30-something for like 180 yards. Bo Nix struggled last night. This was a terrible game for Bo Nix. Bad look. And I think for them jump, I don't think Oregon was even ready. For a school that's always been ready, have you ever heard of an Oregon Duck team that's never ready for any type of game, any bowl game at any point? That's what it felt like last night, watching that game. And Michael Penix Jr., this was his moment. If you want to make a case for who can win the Heisman Trophy, I think Michael Penix Jr. just took back that throne last night, and I think he's in the running to get it at this point. Yes, Bo Nix had thrown for 60 touchdowns this year and 20 rushing ones, but to basically put yourself on the map there with that last night and to come out with a performance like that, if that doesn't drop your value or your stock from the Heisman Trophy conversation, I don't know what does. For Michael Penix Jr., he's been struggling a lot. That got him right back in the race, and that got him at least ahead of Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think Michael Penix Jr. deserves the Heisman Trophy. I think a lot more than Bo Nix does. Look, you look at half those touchdowns this year against, most of the opponents they played. They were suck bag opponents. They were not good teams at all. Honestly, I kind of look at that stat and I look at back in the opponents and think to myself, well, the first game they won 81-7, and they beat a team that was so bad in football at this point that their football program doesn't even care. They're only there to collect the money out of it. So that's one way of looking at it. They're doing good by their school by having a big-time team go to their school. They're not being told to lose a game. It's not rigged like that. But, I mean, it's like, okay, you play us, we'll give you this much money for playing us. The reality of it is, though, make it a game. Make it competitive. I mean, I don't understand these conference opponents of why they come in there and they get absolutely crushed. I just don't get the logic. And how does it make you look good? You feel like a bunch of chumps, and really, you're giving them the money. It's not like you're taking their money to give an absolute beatdown. No, you're giving them almost about $100,000 right now to let them kick your ass. And I don't. It's not even the fact that they're laying down and taking it. Like, it's not like it's being planned out that way. They're having joint practice and stuff like that. Like it's a scripted thing, which it might as well be. By looking at how these opponents play, you kind of get the idea of it. But this is my point when it comes to Bo Nix. You did it against opponents this year that sucked. And really, the Colorado game was a perfect good example of that. I mean, they had no one to face because literally their defense had so many plagued injuries that at that point in time, you weren't facing a team that was 100%. In fact, you didn't have your real test until you faced Washington like a month and a half later. So think of it like that. It took you until facing the Washington Huskies to actually have a legit schedule. And that's what hurt them in the playoff run. How they're ahead of Ohio State, I have no idea. I think after last night, they should just drop it. But anyway, that's just my thought on that game from last night. It's just Oregon all year long was overrated. It showed in the two times that Washington faced them, they beat them. Michael Penix Jr. outplayed Bo Nix once again. So it shouldn't be that surprising to anybody. Now the big game everyone want me to get into here, the Georgia Bulldogs, Alabama Crimson Tide. They put their 29-game winning streak on the line. The Georgia Bulldogs did. Let's see how they fared in this one here. Let's get started here. First drive, Alabama ended up 3-and-out there. Jalen Milroe was trying to go deep, but he threw it. It was almost picked up, actually. That would have been the first play right there. Milroe threw the interception right down the middle of the field. It was deflected, but still. Anyway, back to a 23-yard play. Brock Bowers, good enough for a first down there at the Georgia 40-yard line. Beck again, throwing it to Lovett for 14 yards. Again, another first down. They're now in Alabama territory. Edwards rushes for 4 yards there. Beck threw it for 5 yards to Edwards. Tackled the Alabama 37-yard line by Campbell. 31, 2-yard run by Beck there. That's a first down for the Bulldogs. They are now in Alabama territory to 35. Beck again to McConkley for 15 yards here. He goes out of bounds. That's a first down. A couple plays later, Milton, he runs in from 17 yards out. Right now, it's 7-0 Bulldogs. The number one team is on the board after an 8-play, 83-yard drive down the field about 3 minutes ago, 50 seconds ago. Next possession for Alabama, and after the punt by Alabama and a punt by Georgia. Miller, he runs it for 9 yards out. Then Miller gets a 4-yard run for a first down. Miller again from 8 yards out there. James McKellen doing with a bum foot, so he didn't really play a lot in this game. Miller scrambled himself for 4 yards out. Miller ran it for 7 yards there. Then Miller gets completely pushed backwards. He loses 6 yards. Then Miller steps back to pass that intended for Isaiah Bond. That's incomplete. That leads to an Alabama field goal. It's 7-3 Crimson Tide. I'm sorry, Bulldogs, because they still would lead at that point. Now Georgia gets a ball back here. I just want to share this possession here. So 31 yards for Edwards there. He gets 6 yards. Then Edwards runs for 2 yards there. Then again, Edwards here. I didn't get the sequence at all. Why they didn't have Beck throwing on that down there? It made no sense. And all it did was wake up Alabama. That's all this really did here. Rondale Williams, who was the second back behind Chase McKellen, he gets in the game. He gets 12 yards on the ground. That's a first down there. 8 yards again by Williams there. Then a 9-yard pass to Williams again. So Williams had the ball 3 straight times on 2 runs and a pass play. Then Milroe throws a 19-yard pass to Kobe Presence. He gets pushed out of bounds there. And I think that was pretty much the end of the first quarter at that point in time after that, or the start of the second quarter when that play happened. Williams ran for 9 yards there. Then Williams ran backwards, and he got the 1 yard back. They go for it on fourth down. He gets 2 yards there. They're at the Georgia 18-yard line. After a holding call there, Milroe throws a pass to Miller in the end zone. He gets 28 yards out of it. That's a touchdown there. 10-7 Alabama. And it led to this Georgia Bulldog drive here. Beck, after a few running plays there, throws a 21-yard play to Rosmy Jack Saint for a first down. They're at the Alabama 42-yard line. Then Beck again to Bell for a gain of 6. Then Beck throws a pass to Smith. That's incomplete. Tries to throw a pass to Odell there. He gets 4 yards there. Beck scrambles. He gets 8 yards and a first down. A couple plays later, Milton, he rushes there. He loses 2 yards. Then Beck step backs. Dallas Turner sacked in the backfield there. That sets up for 4th down. Then Wilson was called for a false start. That led to a 50-yard field goal at that point from the Alabama 31-yard line. Actually, it was a 49-yard field goal. And he pushed this one, and it's no good. It was wide to the I think it was wide to the right, I believe, when he missed the field goal there. That sets up a good field position for Alabama because it's a good drive. Milroe looking for Burton right now. Starts to call for pass interference. That's a first down for the Alabama Crimson Tide. A couple plays later, Milroe, he scrambles and he rushes about 6 yards there. The Rondale Williams 3-yard run. That's a 31. That sets up for a Miller 2-yard run. Then Milroe steps back again. He gets sacked, loses 11 yards there. Then on a 3rd and 21, Milroe throws it Nile back, and he gets 17 yards out of it. They're short, but they got to go for a 4th down. And Isaiah Bond gets a 22-yard reception for a first down on a 4th and 4. A couple plays later, Milroe again to Jermaine Burton from 15 yards out, 17-7. 9 plays, 69 yards right there. That's the end of the half right there. Alabama gets a 17-7 lead. Then Georgia kicks a field goal right now. Now here's their next drive over there after forcing a punt. Right after this false start penalty by Browers. Beck is sacked. Ball's out. Marshall with a recovery. Alabama gets the ball right back. That leads to a field goal right now. It's 20-10 Alabama. Later on, after a nice punt return by Evans from the Georgia 37 down to the Alabama 35-yard. Great field position right now for the Bulldogs. They strike. First thing they do here is Beck throws it to Rosemary Jackson, but it's called for pass interference thanks to Arnold. That sets up Beck right here to throw a pass to McConkey. And Beck just gets himself in the end zone there. 20-17. Bulldogs take the lead. Alabama gets the ball right back. Milroe, 21 yards to Isaiah Bond. First down Bulldogs. First down Tide. Rolled Tide. Williams rushes for 9 yards there. Then Milroe throws a 12-yard pass to Isaiah Bond again. Who else? Then 4-yard run play. Then another 4-yard run. Then Milroe again to Isaiah Bond, 13 yards to the Georgia Bulldog 25-yard line. Then Milroe again to Isaiah Bond. The play was ruled a touchdown there. Official review, the runner broke the plane. Play was overturned. Milroe throws an 11-yard play to Isaiah Bond. Or it was overturned. It was not ruled a touchdown. Then it was Rondale Williams who ran in the end zone himself. It was 27-17 Alabama. Now the Bulldogs get a chance to get something going right now at this point. They go for a 4th and 1. They get an 11-yard run out of it. Then Beck throws gets sacked. However, Otis gets a face mask call. That's a big one right there. Then Beck throws a 14-yard play to Muse, a 20-yard play to Brock Bowers. That sets him up at the 6. Milton runs it for 5, and then Beck and Milton get nothing out of it. Then Milton goes for it again, a 4th and goal. 27-24. That's a 10-play, 75-yard drive. But Alabama gets the ball from their own 25. And Milroe, the first thing he does, he runs it for 30 yards. This game is pretty much wrapped up and done. Then Rondale Williams runs for 2 yards in. Then Milroe again runs it again for first down there. And they kneel it out right now. And Nick Saban, once again, now 4-0 in the along with Alabama beating Georgia in the SEC title game for the 4th straight time. Alabama winning their 7th SEC, their 9th win in the SEC title game in the last 10 seasons. They have not lost an SEC title game since 2008, the 09 season, to the Florida Gators and Tim Tebow. That was the last time they lost right now. The Alabama Crimson Tide win 27-24. Carson Beck in this game, he played. This was not his best game. I will say right now, this was not his best stuff. He was 21 for 29, 243 yards. He had one fumble loss there. He was sacked twice in this game. Milrow, this was okay stuff, not great. He was 13 for 23, 192 yards, 2 touchdowns. Was sacked 4 times in this game. Not his best game, but not his worst game, really. They went in there and shocked the world. There's no other way of looking at it. They went in there, they shocked the world. They stunned everybody. This was an amazing stuff. Okay, that's all I got to say about this game. This was an amazing football game from Alabama's standpoint right now. No one really thought Alabama was going to win this game. They were 5.5-point dogs going into this game. It seemed like here that Georgia was being the road team here, which I never really quite understood that really. It was why the number 1 seed is the road team going their actual championship. I never quite got that. I never quite understood that really, of why they were the road team every time. They won the road team last year. They won the road team the time before that one, really. So I don't know what the story was with that. But anyway, Rondale Williams, 16 carries for 64 yards. No Chase McCallum, remember. He was out with the injury. Miller was in there as well. Isaiah Bond had 5 catches for 79 yards. Burton had 2 catches for 28 in the touchdown. Miller had a catch for 28 yards in the touchdown. Kobe President had 1 catch for 19 yards. Not a lot of high reception game. This was all the rush attack, really, because they ran the ball 41 times for 114 yards on the ground. They're outplayed, the Alabama Crimson. There was no doubt about it. I can't figure out how the hell they lost this game. You kind of think about here, 300 yards on the ground in comparison to because think about it, 78 yards on the ground for Georgia. That was really the problem. They couldn't get over 100 yards on the ground here. Carson Beck in this game had 8 carries for -2 yards. Edwards had 10 carries for 38, and Milton had 13 carries for 42. Receiving for Georgia, it was Bowers with 5 catches for 53 yards. Smith had 1 catch for 51 yards. McConkey had 3 catches for 38, and Rosemary Jack Saint had 3 catches for 30. This was not a pretty game. I mean, if you kind of think about it, it was 300 and what ended up being the last number here? 321 yards, on the ground, in total yards right now to Alabama's, what would be in this case here for them? 306 yards here. I mean, you kind of think about it right now that the Alabama's defense did as much as they could in this game to really just stall Georgia's momentum. And all the times that Alabama and Georgia have gone at it in the SEC title game, Nick Saban has gotten the best of them all the time. Gotten the best of Mark Rice, gotten the best of Kirby Smart here, his former assistant. And this was one of those cases right now where you think you have him, but in the end you don't. I thought Georgia was going to win this game, keep Alabama out of the college football playoff. I think they're back in it as far as I'm concerned. I think Georgia's out. That's the way I look at it. I don't think it's going to be by a leapfrog per se. But if I had to say at tonight's performances by most of these games, I would say right now with what's going on right now with Michigan and Iowa right now, with Michigan basically shutting out Iowa 23-0. The way I look at it right now, I think Michigan's your new number 1 by the end of this weekend. Washington's going to end up being your number 2. If Florida State holds up, which I don't think they deserve to win this at all. I really don't think they do. They got a quarterback that's got a concussion. You got another one with a broken leg. They're not going to be competitive at all, which I think would hurt the playoff all intents and purposes. But Michigan number 1, Washington number 2. I would take, and I hope Louisville still has a way to manage to win this game. I hope they do. They still got time though. 3 minutes and 13 seconds left in that game. If Florida State wins, they're going to probably be number 3 by default, or still probably stuck at number 4. I don't know. But you still got Texas that won today. You still got Alabama. I'm not saying Ohio State's going to leapfrog those teams because they're not going to. They didn't win their Big Ten championship. They didn't play today. But if I had to say right now which school right now would have to take it right now, it'd be Texas by default because they did beat Alabama and they did win the championship. They clinched it. And they did it in more dominant fashion than Alabama did. I mean, I don't think that really – and they did it without their star wide receiver too. So you add that in there for how that game played out, 452 yards of it, and Xavier Worthy only got 6 catches for 69 yards out of it. Like that's a rarity. That for your top wide receiver not to be part a big part, really, of that big game for Quinn Ewers. And I must say, I mean, if you kind of look at it right now for how this is going to turn out, I mean, Texas is going to get the number 4 spot. But here's the thing. I don't think Michigan could beat Texas. I just don't think they can. Like, I mean, do you have a game plan for this whole thing without, like, even with Xavier Worthy that could be out? Let's just say that he's out. I just don't think their defense is as strong as it was in years past that could really shut down Texas. I just don't think they can beat them. I think Texas is going to get too damn tough. You can make a case right now for Florida State. I mean, they're going to lose to Washington. So, to me, we're going to see a Texas-Washington national championship game is what we're really going to see here. We're going to see Quinn Ewers go off in this game versus Michael Penix Jr. This is going to be a shootout, no matter how you look at it. Really. This is not going to be one of those games where it's going to be one has more than the other. This is going to be a game where a Ewers is going to shut out here. He's going to throw for 400 yards. Michael Penix Jr. is going to throw for like at least 450, maybe. Maybe he'll throw. Maybe Ewers will time it at 475. I don't know. This is not going to be a defensive game. This is going to come down to your best talent versus your other best talent. And the way I started after today, and I'm more convinced now more than ever that Alabama will be the number 5 by the end of all this, because Ohio State will stay in their spot. Oregon will drop down to 2 spots. And that's just if Florida State wins. That's just if Florida State does win. If they don't win and Louisville does get the win at the end of all this, then, I mean, I think this will be a case where Alabama sneaks right in it. And they'll face off against Michigan in the national championship game. Like, that could be a real case right now we can make for that one, because I kind of look at it, Alabama woke up at the right time. They really did. And they've had some tough games this year. They had a tough game against LSU at home. They had a tough game against Georgia here. In this case right now, is being 5.5-point dogs in this SEC title game today. They had a game against Texas early in the year. Yeah, they lost by 10 points, but they were able to find ways to rebound. They beat Ole Miss at home. Tough game there. And they faced Tennessee at home. Again, another tough game. Not going to be easy to play down the road. They had all their opponents they played on the road that were ranked. I mean, it's not easy. You're facing Heisman candidates left and right here. And look, Jayden Daniels, as much as people want to look at that kid and say he's a Heisman candidate at this point, I mean, he may be, but the way Michael Penix Jr. played today, or last night, I should say, in the Pac-12 title game in Las Vegas, I think he took right back over that whole Heisman conversation. Bo Nix took over with the step that he had. But the reality of it is, it failed to deliver in where it counted, and where it mattered the most. So, to me, I think Michael Penix Jr. takes it. I think we're going to see Washington, Texas play this one out. I really do. I don't know what it is. Like, I look at Michigan after tonight, and I think to myself, they didn't have their best stuff against Iowa. And right now, that looks like a game that's going to be completely over soon. So it's not going to be even worth reviewing, because I just gave you all the clip notes in this one. And now it's 26-0. So, and right now, Louisville's stuck on 4th and 7 right now from their own 28-yard line. I don't know what's going on in this game right now, but it's not looking good. Jack Plummer averaging 2.9 yards on average. He's 13 for 34 for 98 yards. It's not. I don't know if they're just missing a lot of talent tonight, but they usually have a lot more better talent than this. Listen to these stats right here for Thrash, and he's usually a lot better than this. 6 catches for 44 yards. Jordan 3 catches for 21. Coleman was 1 for 15 in this game. And I believe it's on the Louisville side. Yep. If I'm not mistaken here. For Florida State, it's no better. They're actually now at their own 21. They tried going for it on 4th down, apparently. Let me just see what happened here on the last play. He steps back to pass, and he gets sacked. So instead of just punting the ball away at this point and just ending this painful, misery, disappointing, worst ACC title game of all time, because neither team was good in this game. They were terrible. You can make a case right now where even if Florida State wins, you can take them completely out of the conversation. We don't want to have a bad matchup going into that game. It's not like this was a dominant defensive presence kind of feel. It just didn't feel like that. It's just you got a really bad quarterback. That's all there is to it. He was sacked 5 times, Plummer was, in this game for 40 yards. Brock Glenn, 8 for 21. I don't want to see a freshman quarterback that can't play. Sorry, that's cold as can be. I don't want to see that in a college football playoff. And if that does happen, that's a problem. That is a major problem. I mean, that's a case right there where I know the BCS championship thing always causes a lot of drama, and it's always the SC that plays politics here. But this is why you had it in the first place. Because you've got crap back matchups like this that are on live television for the whole world to see, and you get this crap. You get a bad quarterback that can't throw the ball more than 100 yards. He's thrown the ball now for 40 times in the game. That sucks. Brock Glenn, 8 for 21, 55 yards. That just sounds like more like a personal trainer name than an actual football player name. That's the way I look at it. Brock Glenn, do I think a quarterback? No, I don't think of that at all. I think there's a guy that's your personal trainer who's trying to make money, trying to make a living at that job, but it's not muscular jacked either. So anyway, that's just my opinion. Take it for what you will. We're going to get into the, I might as well just give you my NFL picks for the weekend. I'm going to get that over with at this point and give you the news right now on the tush push. This is according to Fox Sports tonight that was reported that Roger Goodell wants the tush push banned. Wants it banned. Does not want it to have happen right now ever again for the Philadelphia Eagles team anymore. He wants the thing banned. The way I look at it, it's a no fun league. That's why Kevin Fitzgibbons got fired from his job or suspended or whatever the case may be. That's why Tyreek Hill is going to go out there and use all his salary money to pay for his salary, which is very nice of Tyreek Hill. His wife would be really happy with that idea. And here for Goodell, I don't know if it's a safety issue. I don't know if he doesn't like the idea that the NFL being compared to rugby at this point because rugby is a dangerous sport, I guess. I don't know what the story is with Goodell. I knew he was going to say something really stupid this year. It was only a matter of time at this point, and this was the week to do it. So that's unfortunate. For the Patriots, we got some news on them right now. They're playing the Chargers tomorrow. They have Zappe back. Bailey Zappe is back as the starting quarterback on this team. Malik Cunningham will be getting some package plays per report. That was on CBS Sports. It's going to rain tomorrow, probably in Gillette Stadium. It's been a high chance of rain, possibly in the New England area. So that might give them somewhat of an advantage, not much. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Not much else to tell about that game right now. But I have a prediction for that game for this weekend. Another loss for the New England Patriots. I'm taking the LA Chargers in this game. Reason being is they suck. There's no other way of looking at it. The Patriots right now have Anderson on injury reserve, but he's expected to return next week. Board questionable with a back injury. You got Isaiah Bolden on concussion injury reserve. No Kendrick Bourne. He's always on he's got a torn ACL. He's done for the year. He tore it weeks ago. Kayshon Boutte out for week 13. Not going to be playing in the game. I didn't even know he had a shoulder injury to begin with. Demario Douglas is out for week 13, so no Demario Douglas. You got Trent Brown playing in this game. Luke on injured reserve. He should be off for injured reserve this week. Elliott will be expected to play. He had a thigh injury. Gonzalez injured his shoulder early in the year, so he's done for the year. Junon's not going to. Apparently, Junon's going to return next week. And Riley Reef is on injured reserve, but he's going to come back as well. But I look at it like this: the Patriots got nothing to play for here. Mac Jones sucks. You want to know his stats for the stats this year for Mac Jones? 2,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, 12 picks. It's not pretty. It's not pretty, and I don't want to hear it's the play calling. No, Mac Jones has got a noodle arm. He's a bust. That's all there is to it. I've tried to defend this guy for weeks now, and it's not worth it. It's not worth my time to defend that guy, the quitter, who quit 3 different times, got benched 4 different times, and now is a third string now behind Malik Cunningham. And look at it this way. That's the problem with this whole thing. It is the plan behind this whole thing. So Zappe, who got more reps in a game, and I just got in an argument with my cousin about this tonight. Not even an argument, but a little bit of a disagreement. Which was really nothing really. But he believes that Cunningham somebody heard that Cunningham might get the start over him, which I'm thinking to myself, well, that can't be possible because Zappe got more of the reps. He had the reps all week. Oh, Mac had 0 reps. I know, because Zappe had all the reps this week. He was number 1. He played with the first team. When you play with the first team and you have more reps than most of the guys, they're not going to go out there and give Cunningham the starting job. It makes no sense. That's stupid. Anyway, Bill Belichick for you. With the press conference, doesn't really tell anybody what's going on. He waits to the last minute. I think Bill Belichick has basically just checked himself out. He does not care about the rest of the season. I think he wants out of New England in the worst way. I don't think this is a fact of him challenging anymore for a position saying, oh, Bill, he doesn't have the balls. I think legitimately he wants out. He wanted out from his team from day one. He didn't try to put a team together for Mac Jones because, A, he doesn't believe in the kid. That's pretty obvious. He thought he could do it in the past right now with do it like he did with Tom Brady right now, putting garbage and Brady turning into gold. That and making himself look in the process. That's how Bill has managed these things for years. And the reality of it is here at this point is that the talent never got better. It got worse. And it's to the point now where everybody's just quitting. So the reality of it is, if you think about it really, Mac Jones being benched here, he deserves it. He could have turned that crap into gold, and the reality was turned into a whiny diva instead. And I think in reality here, you're just basically pushing talent away from going there. Like the idea of that happening. Why do you think DeAndre Hopkins is happy right now with Will Levis? You think he gives a flying crap right now this year about what the Titans' record's going to be this year by the end of all this? No. He knows in his mind that he's away from that complete dunce of a quarterback who has no idea football IQ at all whatsoever. It's pretty sad when you think about it. That's just a fact. But yeah, I'm taking the Chargers to win this game. The Falcons and the Jets, it's Tim Boyle in this game versus Desmond Ridder here. Honestly, at this point, I'm going to take the Falcons. I mean, there's no realistic chance that the Jets win this one right now. Aaron Rodgers is back practicing, but what difference does it make? I wouldn't bother going back to this game the rest of the way. There's no reason to. There's no point. The Falcons will go 6-6. The Jets will drop to 4-8. That's all you need to hear from me. There is no spread for the Colts-Titans game. I am taking the Titans in this game, though. I'm taking an upset win. I kind of trust the Titans to pull up the upset more than Gardner Minshew winning on the road against the Titans. I'm just being realistic here. I just don't trust the Colts. I don't think they're that good of a team. I think they're overrated. Their defense is carrying them for most of the way. If it's not been their defense, then it's been Minshew having these magical miracle games, and it's not consistent miracle games. So to me, I just he lucked out in Frankfurt a couple weeks ago against the Patriots. I mean lucked out. I mean it was just not pretty that game. That game was purely terrible. But yeah, I don't trust Gardner Minshew. I just don't trust that Colt team. I don't think they're that good. I think they're a tad bit overrated. Just calling like I see it. The Lions and the Saints. I'm gonna take the Lions in New Orleans. Derek Carr at home. Chris Olive's out with a concussion. Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas are just going through the motions. They're not gonna be there next year. Michael Thomas will be a free agent. He'll go somewhere else. Alvin Kamara, as far as I'm concerned, I think he's going through the Barry Sanders mentality at this point, where he just wants to retire. He knows this same team's not a real contender. He sees a doubt in this team's eyes. You don't really have a really good head coach at Dennis Allen. He's kind of like a tad bit like completely useless, gutless at best. Not really a team that takes command here. No one really takes him seriously. I kind of look at it, they're stuck in this funk where no one's gonna want to go there and deal with Derek Carr's crap. So you're getting like a oh god, what was that left-handed quarterback's name? Was it that Thompson guy? I think his name was. So it's the same feeling there. It's that Kamara disconnect there. There's no real connection. There really isn't. So I'm going to Lions to beat the Saints. Arizona Cardinals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, what do you think? The Steelers are going to be 7-4. They're the fifth seed right now in the AFC wild card. It's another win for them there. Kyler Murray's got nobody there that's really motivating to play with. Zach Ertz just got released this week. He might be going to Baltimore. So I'm just saying. Zach Ertz and Mark Andrews. Imagine that combination next year. That's scary. By the way, they're both number one tight ends, which the last time that two guys were going in there, both as number one guys. Go back to Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski back in 2012 and 2011, 2012, when Tom Brady was a Patriot. That was the last time that was an actual thing. But the Steelers defensively, T.J. Watt is going to go after Kyler Murray. He's going to eat him up. He's going to get at least 3 sacks on him. That defense will overwhelm Kyler Murray to the point where he will be uncomfortable throughout the entire game. This will be this probably will be the worst game for the Cardinals all year as far as offensive line production goes. And the Steelers defense is a lot. They are. They're a lot to handle. We got Minka Fitzpatrick, who's going to be back from injury. I think he already came back from injury, but I mean that guy's going to make an impact there. It's going to be an angry Steelers team that's going to be pissed off. Pickett's going to have a big game. They're going to have at least 500 yards down the field because Arizona's got no defense. So Steelers with a win. The Dolphins are at the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are 4-8. They're on their way to firing Ron Rivera. They're not going to fire him midway in the season now at this point. They're not going to pull a plug on this. this project just yet. This is the lasting image of Dan Snyder's project, as far as Ron Rivera being the head coach of that team goes. It's just that's just my take on the whole thing. Like I just think it's like a vanity project that went horribly wrong for Dan Snyder for 30 years. Here's your last years of bad coaching going out the window. That's how you gotta look at this one right now. Dolphins will get the win. It's gonna be Tua versus that defense, whatever's left of it, really. I mean, it could be a duel between Sam Howell and Tua, but I kind of look at it and thinking to myself, an overwhelming Miami defense that's now got JPP on it right now, who's a better veteran leader to that defense that can help, with the fact that they lost Phillips for the year with that torn Achilles. And it just plenty of rest, plenty of time to go over the playbook, and it's a crap bag Washington Commander team that's going to get overwhelmed. So I'm going with the Dolphins with a big win there. Denver Broncos are going to the Houston Texans. It's C.J. Stroud versus Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has won 5 straight games going to the game right now in the Houston right now, while Houston last week lost a tough home game to the Jacksonville Jaguars and really a chance to lead the AFC South. I think this is where the streak comes in for Denver. I don't see them winning 6 straight games right now. C.J. Stroud's been on a hot streak. You can make a case right now where I think Stroud will basically outplay Russell Wilson here. This will be a situation right now where this kind of favors Houston a hell of a lot more. It's a 1:00 game. It's in the East Coast time zone, so it's gonna give that team who's used to West Coast time a lot more of an advantage here. Their defense has been getting a lot stronger now. Houston has, and I think realistically they're gonna basically overwhelm Russell Wilson right now. They don't have much of a strong wide receiving core in Denver. They really don't. Sutton, Judy, they're not strong. They're not strong at all. This has been a case where Denver's defense has been doing most of the work, and Russell Wilson having somewhat of a better competitive game out of it with somebody else who's just doing one-on-one plays with unexpected people. That's kind of how the season's gone. So in this case here, I'm going to go with a Houston Texan win at home over the Broncos. That's my pick. The Carolina Panthers are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are going to win this game. The Carolina Panthers have got nothing going on. They fired their head coach. They got a dumb owner who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Does not know how to run a football team. It's pretty obvious. Been firing coaches left and right. Fired Matt Rule midseason last year. Fired Frank Reich earlier last week. They don't care. They wanted C.J. Stroud. It's pretty obvious. The Raiders wanted C.J. Stroud in that whole report right now with Dave Ziegler and all the anger that's been going on right now with him and Josh McDaniels. McDaniels want to run it like West Coast Patriots with Jimmy Garoppolo. Wanted a chance to prove Bill Belichick wrong, basically. Look what ended up happening. Mark Davis said, F you, you're fired, and F you, you're fired. So they both got fired. Here in this case here, Dave Tepper just is a miniature Mark Davis. Basically just fired everybody for no reason. It's pretty obvious. But the whole team is quitting on the owner. It's not quitting on the coaching. It's quitting on the owner. And Bryce Young said the entire team feels responsible for Frank Reich being fired and the entire staff, which they all do. They all share responsibility. They all know they suck. So, and they're going to keep sucking. So they're going to lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Baker Mayfield. And Mike Evans will get 1,000 yards receiving finally because that secondary is complete hot garbage. All right. First 425 game that's actually worth talking about. And for the first time since the 1970s that a home team that was 10-1 or more is a home dog. They're 3-point underdogs, the Eagles are. They're taking on the San Francisco 49ers, a NFC title game rematch. It is the Eagles at home, 10-1 versus the 8-3 49ers. First game with Chase Young and Nick Bosa actually facing a really tough opponent. Jason Hargrave, the former Philadelphia Eagle, back now with the 49ers right now. His return to Philadelphia. Long-time Eagle, now a 49er here. It's big stuff. It really is. Cam Sims just got signed with the Eagles this week. I think he's on the practice squad or taken out the practice squad and signed officially with the team for a Washington Commander. A lot of big juicy things to get into with this game. Really, it's just Eric Armstead did not practice on the week for right now. He's got a foot injury. He may be out. Hufanga, of course, on the IR with a torn ACL. Mason did not practice right now. He's ruled questionable. Ray McLeod did practice. He's questionable right now with a rib injury. For Philadelphia, and their side of the ball, Calandra is limited. Fletcher Cox may be out for this game with a groin injury. He did not practice on Friday, which now they're saying that he could possibly be ruled out. It's doubtful right now at this point. Dallas Goedert is out for the game against the Eagles. No Cunningham. He's out for the hamstring injury. Dean's on the injured reserve with a foot injury. Evans is on injured reserve the next week with a knee injury. And Maddox could return week 16. This is news to me. Maddox with a pectoral tear could be back before week 16. That just came in tonight, and Rodgers is suspended indefinitely with the gambling stuff. So, a lot of key things in this whole thing to get into here. I think the 49er defense just gets their revenge on Philadelphia right now. I think they expose the tush push. I think they push hard to make sure the tush push for Roger Goodell gets exposed. Let's put it that way, to the point where it's not banned, but it makes Goodell happy, going like, thank God the tush push wasn't the reason the Eagles won this game, or wasn't, or probably was the reason the Eagles lost this game. They want to punish Philadelphia for injuring Brock Purdy. Deebo Samuel's been talking trash about how the defensive backs are trash. You know, they're talking about how the Eagles are saying, like, come back here, think you're better than us, and think you're overrated. That was Reddick, in response to Deebo Samuel's comment about the Eagles defense. Hassan Reddick was the one that took out Brock Purdy. Just FYI, I don't think anyone really realized that either. I mean, he tore his UCL. So if I'm the 49ers at this point, I'd watch out for him. Trent Williams went on record to talk about his cancer that he had, that he was diagnosed with this week. I actually had the report right here and the audio from that report. I can just pull it up really quickly right now. But I heard about this, and I thought this was like a recent thing that he overcame, I guess. I thought, like, I wasn't thinking of a different football player. But he opened up about being it was on the I don't know what podcast it was from. But he opened up his career, cancer diagnosis, and being told he didn't know how much time he had left to live. So here's what the audio was.
He was just like beating around. But I'm like, what is it? Like, man, I don't know how to say this, but he might. He was just like beating around. But I'm like, what is it? I can't play football no more. Just put it on me. I'm already kind of anticipating. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting. So he's like, no, football, like, the least you're worried at this point. But when he said that, I just kind of like, oh, shit. Yeah, I just braced myself, and he was like, yeah, man, I think you need to, like, get closer to the girls, stuff that really matter, because, like, from what I've seen, I don't know how, he's like, it looks pretty serious. I don't know how long you got left, you know what I'm saying? Like you need to get your affairs in order. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn. So when he said that, like, I don't know, like it was like an out of body experience. Like it was almost like it just wasn't real. You might
So that was Trent Williams on the Third and Long podcast. This was on according to JPA Football from Instagram page that I got this from. Very sad to hear that he was diagnosed with cancer. I hope he beats it. I really hope he does. I really hope it. I hope it's not to the point where it's not too late and they can't don't go through chemo and all that stuff right now. Like, I hope he doesn't get that far with it. But for him to come out and say that and still play football, you got to give him credit for that one. By the way, Deshaun Jackson, the wide receiver who formerly retired with, this week as a Philadelphia Eagle, the former Eagle wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson, will be an honorary captain this weekend. Very interesting. This will be an emotional football game. One of the most emotional weeks of NFL football for both these teams. I'm picking the 49ers to win. I think the Eagles' offensive line will get exposed a little bit. Eagles are banged up left and right defensively as well. So I think this is kind of the reason why Philadelphia was not favored to win this game. I know they're home. I know what people are thinking here, but hear me out. Brock Purdy, Kittle, Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, they're all healthy. I think that's going to be too much for Philadelphia's defense to handle that isn't healthy. They're already shorthanded as it is. I got a score for this game. It's going to be 24-7. I just think I have a funny feeling here that Hurts will throw the one touchdown pass to A.J. Brown. The first drive, they'll have it. But then Samson will score 24 unanswered. I just think that their defense can shut them out the rest of the way. I think Chase Young will get at least a couple of sacks in there. Nick Bosa will get a couple of sacks. Hargrave will get a couple of sacks in there on Jalen Hurts. It's 6 sacks in this game for at least 56 yards of lost yards. That's how I see this game going. And at least if it's not that, then maybe 66 yards, maybe an extra 10 yards more. I think Hurts will throw a couple of picks in there to Jadarius Ward. It'll be Chris McCaffrey with 2 rushing touchdowns, I think. Debo will get a passing touchdown to Kittle. Purdy will just throw the 1. Because I can't see Purdy throw for 300 yards in this game, but I can see enough where he can make an impact in this game. Like around 225, 245. Doesn't really have to do much in this game, you know? And I kind of look at it like this. It's going to be a statement win. Like, Purdy doesn't have to do a lot of anything at this point because he's not going to have to show his best stuff. But when they play the Ravens in a few weeks on Christmas night, then that's when they're going to have to show up because you got a healthy Raven defense at the right time. This team's that are not ready right now for this matchup. It's pretty obvious. You got Goodell right now who's saying, ban the tush push, ban it. So you get that on the horizon. Then you got the whole, Deshaun Jackson retirement, Hargrave's return, then Trent Williams' cancer diagnosis reveal in that Third and Long podcast. All that comes into play. It's more behind San Francisco to win this game because of who they have at full health. And that's pretty much it. So 24-7, I think the 49ers beat the Eagles. The Cleveland Browns are at the Los Angeles Rams. Joe Flacco has got the green light to start this Sunday for the Cleveland Browns. Yes, you heard that right. Former Baltimore Raven, former New York Jet, former Denver Bronco, now Cleveland Brown. Who would have thought this guy's a journeyman at this point? Now with the Browns, starting this weekend against the Los Angeles Rams, taking on Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald. Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald meet one-on-one, head-to-head. Head honcho of their defenses, respectfully. I'm taking the Browns to win this game. This will be a low-scoring game. This will be a defensive battle here. I'm going to say in this game here, it's going to be like a 14-7 game. I can't really say realistically why I feel this way, but I do. Actually, I wouldn't even say 14-7. No, I'm going to say 10-7 here. Honestly, I got to give props to Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett. They're going to show their best stuff. He knows Myles Garrett's coming into town to SoFi Stadium. He wants to make a statement win. But I think it's going to be a case where it's going to be Matthew Stafford turning over on downs, and that'll be the end of it. I think Myles Garrett will get the last key play, sack, that will lead them to kneeling the ball out, and that'll be the end of the game. So I'm taking the Browns in and winning here. They'll go 8-4. Let's see. We got another 1 o'clock. Is that the only 4:25 games in a row? I think that's it. Yeah. We got a couple more games to pick here. Kansas City Chiefs are at the Green Bay Packers. Snow was in the weather. There are 36 degrees of weather right now. I think it's been snowing today in Green Bay, which is good. Second snow game for the Chiefs all season long. Both of them on the road, which is a rarity. I would say I trust the Kansas City Chiefs playing this one out here in this case here, but I don't. Snow games have been too kind to Mahomes at this point. He hasn't had his best stuff. Kelsey lately has not been. I don't know how Kelsey is in cold weather games. I don't think he's ever had a breakout game where in the snow he's been the dominant force of the tight end. At least I don't remember it really going out that way. And every time I've seen the Chiefs play in cold weather games, they don't really generate a lot of crazy stuff. It doesn't get people thinking. In the snow, I think this favors Green Bay more. I think it's all going to be about the run in this game. I don't think Love's going to throw a lot in this game if it's going to snow a lot here. I'm going to make a case for it right now where I think the Packers this weekend will probably upset win. They're at home. It's in the snow. Mahomes, the last time he played a snow game, he had the flu, and it didn't even snow that much. And it didn't even have to snow that much in order for them to play badly in this game. They were back for 1 week against the Raiders here. It seemed like their offense was on the same page. A game without Taylor Swift around, and Kelsey finally had a game where he had like 6 catches for 91 yards. I feel like here it's going to be a case where the Packers are going to start out pretty good. Love had a pretty great Week 12 on Thanksgiving against the Lions. This was a wake-up call And they were more on the same page than the Chiefs were in that Raiders game. I'm just being realistic here. I think Love in this game is not going to have a big-time game, but he'll have a game enough where as long as he plays better than Mahomes, and Mahomes doesn't go off and try to show off Love in his home right now, the Packers have a chance. So I'm taking the Green Bay Packers at home in the snow over the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs lose this one, and they drop down a seed or two, I think. Maybe down to a third or fourth seed. Because, I mean, I was going to go with the Chiefs before all this, but then I saw the snow in the forecast, and I'm thinking to myself, well, the last time Mahomes played in a snow game, it snowed before the game started. He was still sick at the time. He had the flu. Didn't practice a lot in that week. And they're on the road. They faced a very game team in a trap mode situation, which led to a team's winning streak and their chance of them making the playoffs. The Packers are in that same spot right now. They're at home. It's sort of like a trap game. So I'm going to take the upset pick here. I have to. Final game. Cincinnati Bengals are at the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags are at home Monday Night Football. No Joe Burrow, of course. No T. Higgins, it seems like now in this course right now. The Bengals are all banged up. I don't see the point of the. I mean, to me, I would go with the Jacksonville Jaguars if I believe that the Bengals will pull off the upset right now. I just don't see it. I'm being realistic here. I don't see it. It's too late in the year for the Bengals to really do anything here. Brian's not that great. Kind of overrated. I can see why he didn't make a lot of NFL teams. He's not that great. He's just not the guy that you would want to rely on in a big primetime game. It's a tough spot for him. Not a lot of experience. Lawrence got enough experience now where he can have a big-time game. I think he will. I think he'll throw for at least 350 in this game. Get at least 3 touchdowns in there. 1 to Calvin Ridley, 1 to Ingram, and 1 to Christian Kirk. And now we'll seal the deal for Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville will get the win big time. They'll allow a couple of meaningless touchdowns in the end of this game, and I think it'll be a 35-21 win. I think Jacksonville's got this one wrapped up in the bag. Your bye weeks this week there's a long list here. It's the Bears, Bills, Giants, Raiders, Ravens, and Vikings who all get the bye this week. Cowboys are going to win Thursday night, 41-35 over Seattle. I already went over those highlights in that game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much it for the NFL this week as far as picks go. I'll give you a little quick update with the NCAA football playoff. Florida State did get the win. They are now 13-0. They kicked the final field goal. They won 16-6 in one of the worst games of the entire college football year. There have been some bad ones this year for college football. This one is by far the worst. Yes, and it did involve the ACC, believe it or not. But yeah, this was right here with one of the worst ones yet. And Iowa got shut out at home, 26-0 over Michigan. J.J. McCarthy, 22 for 30 for 147 yards. Hill, 18 for 32 for 120. By far, 2 of the worst championship games of the year. It was a pathetic effort on J.J. McCarthy's part. Blake Corum, 16 carries for 52 yards, 2 touchdowns. This was the first time that I can actually say Blake Corum has horrible football. Didn't run for over 60 yards in a big-time game. That's bad. And for the fact that that's the first win that Michigan's ever had with that happening, that's a rarity. So, I mean, it's just – this is all defense in this one. That's all this was. I think this guy's name's Deacon Hill. Ugh, ugly night for him. He got sacked 4 times in the game. Averaged 3.8 yards per pass play. Ugh, definitely not ready for college football starting position. I'm just being realistic here. And too bad Cade McNair never got his revenge against J.J. McCarthy. Cade McNair, I remember, by the way, never liking Blake Corum that much because he liked J.J. McCarthy more. So, I mean, you could have had a case of that tonight. Instead, McNair, who tore his ACL in October, was done for the year by that point. I mean, that would have been a perfect matchup. A lot of people were actually thinking that would be the potential Big Ten championship in the beginning of the year, which is surprising. But, yeah, that ended up being a complete shit show, that game. So, both suck games. Not much else to tell there in that one. A couple of field goals late in the game. Iowa couldn't do anything on offense. Louisville here in this case right now was just desperate. Jack Plummer, if I can get his final stats here, he did overthrow finally over 100 yards. He did actually outplay Brock Glennon. Jack Plummer, 14 for 36, 111 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick. Brock Glennon, 8 completions for 21 for 55 yards. Ugly night. And I know they're going to have the other guy back probably for whenever they play another game. This all depends on this upcoming week for the AP poll selection for the college football playoff that starts on the weekend of the 30th and the 31st. I don't like that Florida State won tonight, because that means now they're applied to say, well, wait a minute, we need to have 3 undefeated teams in college football. I can't believe I'm actually going to say that here, but in this case here for Florida State, without Jordan Travis, it's not going to be worth watching. I'm sorry. I'm just being realistic here. It's not going to be worth a watch at all. I mean, it's just at this point now, and Tate Rodemaker's not that great. He's overrated too. I mean, it's not like at this point, I want guys who have healthy quarterbacks. I don't want guys who are cold, have no stamina, not ready for it, not a lot of experience, put in a position where they have to win the game. I know it'd be a great hell of a story, but you just saw a case of it tonight where they had a chance to do that in ACC, and look how they responded. It was all their defense. I mean, you want to tell me that Brock Glenn helped you win a championship game tonight? You're smoking crack. I mean, it's not worth watching. Tofu had 10 carries for 118 yards for Florida State and 1 touchdown. When you got a guy named Tofu, and I'm pronouncing it wrong on purpose here. When you got a guy that's named Tofu who's going to help you win a college football championship, that's not a good sign. Okay, that's just stupid. Anyway. So we got some NBA basketball we got to get into that was on last night. The Celtics beat the 76ers 125-119. They improved to 15-4. Sixers dropped to 12-7. Tatum was ejected in the third quarter due to a technical. It was lost his temper and a referee. They got ejected. That was in the third quarter. Tatum had 21 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Jaylen Brown had 20 points, 4 rebounds. Al Horford had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. Derek White had 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Drew Holiday, 13 points, 5 boards, and 6 assists for the Celtics. For the Sixers, there was no Embiid in the game. Beverly had 26 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Melton had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I kind of have a funny feeling about Patrick Beverly. I wonder who he guarded in that game the other night. Oh, he guarded Jason Tatum. He kind of lost temper because of him. Markieff Morris had 13 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist. Tobias Harris had 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Covington had 18 points off the bench. Bamba had 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 board off the bench. Covington had 5 rebounds and 1 assist in his time on the bench as well. Knicks beat the Raptors 119-106. Spurs lose at 13 straight over the Pelicans 121-106. The Nuggets beat the Suns 119-111. And the Magic beat the Wizards, and they make their streak now 13 straight losses for Washington as well, 130-125. Orlando's now 14-5, and they're not that far behind, which is kind of amazing here for the Celtics. They're the second seed, only a game and a half back of the Celtics for the number 1 spot. The Bucks are 14-6. The Sixers are 12-7. The Knicks are 12-7. The Pacers are 10-8. Heat are 11-9. The Cowboys are 11-9. Brooklyn's 10-9. And the Hawks are 9-10. The rest of the East going down is 9-11, 6-12 for the Hornets, 9-11 for the Raptors. Bulls are 7-14. The Wizards are 3-16. The Pistons are 2-18. Once again, the Pistons had lost 17 straight going into today, which today we got some scores going on right now. The Timberwolves beat the Hornets 123-117. The Bulls beat the Pelicans 124-118. The Brooklyn Nets beat the Magic 129-101. They're now 14-6. So they're tied for the 3rd spot right now. The Bucks moved up with a win tonight. I think they're actually 15-6 now. The Bucks are now back in the 2nd seed here. They beat the Hawks 132-121. The Pacers beat the Heat 144-129. The Suns beat the Grizzlies, who are now 5-14, 116-109. The Thunder beat the Mavericks 126-120. The Kings right now currently lead the Nuggets 102-91. The Cavaliers beat the Pistons 110-101. 17 straight losses for the Pistons, by the way. That's pretty bad. There's no games on tomorrow apparently for December 3rd, which is kind of strange. So that means now there'll be 2 games on for Monday. The Celtics played again against the Pacers. I guess this is the start of the tournament, I guess, at this point. So it starts on the 4th. You got the end season tournament right now. The tournament comes to an end on the 8th, which is or the 6th, I believe, right? I'm not even sure when this ends anymore. The final game's on the 9th. You get my point. I think. Anyway, so that's that. Celtics have been playing pretty good. I have a problem with them finishing teams off in the end when it's not an in-season tournament. When it has to be by a certain seed number margin they have to win by, they show up to play. They're telling them to get back on the floor and make this competitive here. I like it when the starters are back on the floor. I hate it when they're sitting on the bench and it's a complete blowout and the bench players are just missing their shots, not good enough to be on the starting rotation, and they're putting there in the pressure situation to maintain like a certain big lead. And the other team's just blowing by them. I just look at it and think to myself, I know it's all about like respect in their minds, but it's all about disrespect. They're disrespecting you by spitting all over you at the big lead that you had and exposing the bench at this point who just want to dribble out and end the game and show mercy. I just think it's kind of pointless to you know, for Drew Holiday to come out last week and say like, oh yeah, it's all about respect, but when you're disrespecting by leaving the game early. That's why they're scoring points here late in the game. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. The Jazz right now beating the Trailblazers right now. It's 117-113 right now in that game. We had some college basketball finishes last night. We had some upsets today as well. We'll start with last night in the Big East here. Iowa State beat DePaul 99-80. Kansas, 5th-ranked Kansas beat 4th-ranked UConn 69-65. Their undefeated streak comes to an end for UConn at 7-0 and now 7-1. Houston Cougars, who by the way are still undefeated, they're now 8-0. They beat Xavier 66-60. St. John's beat West Virginia 79-73. They now improved to 5-2. Top 25 games that were on last night. Besides that, number 1 ranked Purdue upset it at Northwestern. Northwestern ends their undefeated streak as well. They lose 92-88. BYU beat Fresno State 85-56. For today, 8th-ranked Miami beat Notre Dame 62-49. 17th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels beat the Florida State Seminoles 78-70. North Carolina Wilmington upset 12th-ranked Kentucky in Kentucky 80-73. Georgia Tech beat Duke 72-68. Back-to-back losses against unranked opponents. Very shocking there. Wisconsin upset Marquette today, 3rd-ranked Marquette to be exact, 75-64. No Bronny James for USC, which is an issue because now they lost again to Gonzaga, who's ranked 11th right now going into that one. They got an 89-76 win. Villanova, 18th ranked, their second loss this week to an unranked opponent. They lost to St. Joe's this week, and now to Drexel, 57-55. Second-ranked Arizona beat Colgate 82-55. 24th ranked Illinois beat Rutgers 76-58. 13th ranked Florida Atlanta beat Charleston 90-74. Baylor beat Northwestern State 91-40. Colorado State beat Washington 86-81. Providence beat URI 84-69. Colorado State, by the way, was ranked 20th in that one. Baylor was ranked 9th. Duke this week was ranked 7th, so they might drop again. And coming on later on today, it's James Madison coming in 22nd ranked. Creighton 15th ranked this week going on up at Nebraska. 21st ranked Mississippi State is at home against Southern. As far as other games going, Big Ten, we gotta get a look at that one right now. Minnesota's playing Ohio State later on today. For tonight, Oregon lost to Michigan 86-83. And Bucknell goes into Penn State, and they beat Penn State at their place 76-67. Other than that, for Friday's action, Indiana beat Maryland 65-53. We already know about Northwestern beating the number 1 ranked team in Purdue 92-88. Now, here's the story. Here's the question that's on everyone's mind. Since Purdue lost, does that mean Arizona deserves to be the number 1 seed? Absolutely. My prediction right now is Arizona will be the new number 1, Kansas will be the new number 2, and Houston will be the new number 3. And I think here, with all the upsets that happened this weekend here, Marquette should be, or not Marquette, Miami should be ranked number 4 going into this week. I think UConn would be good at number 5. That's my opinion. Drop UConn down to 1 seed there. You move Houston up to the 3rd seed there. You put Miami up in the 4th seed spot. Why not? Actually, I would put Baylor number 5, actually, ahead of UConn at 6. That's what I would do. That's what I would do personally. Move everybody else down. That's one way. That's one way of making a statement there. That really is. There's nothing else to tell here. We got some hockey we gotta get into though from last night though. We gotta get some scores from last night. There were only 2 games on. San Jose Sharks beat the New Jersey Devils in New Jersey 6-3. The Columbus Blue Jackets beat the Ottawa Senators 4-2 last night. For Saturday, we got games that went to final. Dallas Stars destroyed the Tampa Bay Lightning 8-1. The New York Rangers beat the Nashville Predators 4-3. Winnipeg Jets beat the Chicago Blackhawks 3-1. In this game, it was Connor Bedard who had a snapshot. Mark Scoffey had a power play goal. Morgan Barron had a wrist shot goal in the victory. And Cole Perfect had a tip-in shot. They get a 3-1. My phone looks like it's ready about to die at this point. I'll try to make this quick here. Islanders beat the Florida Panthers 4-3. Detroit Red Wings beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-4 in overtime. The Philadelphia Flyers go into Pittsburgh and win in a shootout fashion over Sidney Crosby Penguins 4-3. The Bruins won in overtime. Pasternak had 1 goal and 2 assists. Austin Matthews goalless in this one here. David Pasternak had a snapshot goal. Kevin Shattenkirk had a goal. Austin Matthews, he did have a goal in this game. Okay, he did have a goal. Okay. I don't know why I'd say he did have a goal in this one. Max Domi had a goal for the Maple Leafs. Trent Frederick with a goal. Austin Matthews with a slash shot goal. Looked like he was the only guy that showed up in this game. And Brad Marchand got the game-winning goal in Toronto, got the win over the Maple Leafs 4-3. Vancouver Canucks are currently up right now over the Calgary Flames 3-1. Carolina Hurricanes beat the Buffalo Sabres early today 6-2. Ottawa Senators beat the Seattle Kraken 2-0, and the Arizona Coyotes beat the St. Louis Blues 4-1. Looks like right now the Calgary Flames are in a power play, but it doesn't really matter. They're gonna probably end up losing that game. Vegas Golden Knights are shutting down the Capitals right now 3-0. And the Anaheim Ducks and Colorado Avalanche are tied at 3 apiece in Anaheim. And tomorrow's action, we got the Bruins once again playing tomorrow at 7 o'clock against Columbus Blue Jackets. Nashville Predators are at the Buffalo Sabres. San Jose Sharks are at the Rangers. Blackhawks are at the Wild. And the Avalanche are at the LA Kings. So I will give you the highlights for the Sunday games on Monday. I'll post all the finals of the hockey thing on my Facebook and Instagram story. So you'll have that on that end there. You might even have it on my TikTok as well. I'm going to try to figure out if I can get that on my TikTok. So all the scores for the hockey from that Saturday. So that way people will be like lost with that one. I'll try to figure that out. If not, it'll just be on my Instagram and Facebook story. Bruins tonight, though. I mean, I don't know why it said Austin Matthews didn't have only had 2 assists there when he clearly had 2 goals that helped him out there. So I apologize if I got the wrong info there. Stupid freaking CBS Sports. Oh, I read it wrong. I'm sorry. That was my bad. He had 2 goals in the game and a couple assists in the game. Brad Marchand had the game-winning goal. Pretty good stuff tonight from the Bruins tonight. Yolmark had 37 saves. And yes, he allowed 3 goals, but I mean, that's 12 goals now at this point. But to make up for it, to have a 40 attempts shot at you, and you got 37 saves out of it, I mean, I got to give you a props there for that one. Does that mean Yolmark's back at being number 1 as far as I'm concerned? No, I think, and I don't think this was a fluke here for Yolmark. It's just the fact right now that they're just relying on swimming a hell of a lot more. And I think it's ever since that New York Ranger game where he tried to get the number 1 spot back. He tried to do too much in that game, and it just didn't work out for him. So it's unfortunate that it played out like that. It sucked. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know. That's all there was to it. No news front there. I already mentioned before about Mac Jones getting demoted, which that's that. Got some boxing news right now. Quickly here, I'll get this news right now. King Ryan Garcia defeating Oscar Duarte in TKO, late TKO win. Garcia improves now to 24. Garcia now improved. I guess Garcia's now 25-1 now. I guess with his 21st knockout technically. over Duarte. Duarte now getting the third loss of his career. Now 26-3-1, 21 knockouts. This fight, boxing match took place in the Toyota Center in Houston tonight. We actually have some soccer news. Actually, we might as well have some golf news. I'm going to get the golf stuff out of the way quickly first. Scotty Scheffler at the 3 rounds here. He's got the leaderboard right now at 16 under par right now. Tiger Woods placing in this one here. I actually did not. I guess it's not in the top 20 here. He did struggle in the first few days. I think he had like a 75 in the first round. He had like a 72, I think, in the second round, 71. I think today he just was back down at 75 again. It's been an up and down road for Tiger Woods despite all his back problems. But he looks good. Looks great. Up to this point, I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it's not going to be more than what I had here. But yeah, it looks like Scotty Scheffler now will get the in round 1 he had 69, round 2 he had 66, round 3 he had 65. Fitzpatrick had 70 in round 1, a 68 for round 2, and a 65 for round 3. Justin Thomas had 70, 67, 68 in the first 3 rounds. That resulted in him getting 11 under. I'm going to go to Jordan Spieth here, who tied for 4th. 68, 67, and 71. It's been mostly like that, I guess, between Fanu and Day, because Day had 71 in the first round. Fanu had 71 in the second round here. Spieth had it here in the third round. So that's that. For Justin Rose, he got 5th under here, tied for 11th, 72, 71, and 68. The final round will be on tomorrow in the Hero World Challenge Classic in Albany. For soccer, it's just been still going on at this point. I really haven't even been paying attention here, but I'm going to get it out of the way here. MLS champion conference final championship. The matchup will be Columbus versus Los Angeles LAFC, which is I think it's Los Angeles, right? Los Angeles FC here. They beat the Seattle Sounders soundly 1-0 full time. And the Houston Dynamic FC, I guess, whatever it is, they won full time 1-0 over SKC. Or that was Sunday, I'm sorry. For tonight. Sorry. Whoa, I gave you the wrong scores. I gave you the wrong date, too. Columbus got the win over FC Cincinnati 3-2. And LAFC beat Houston 2-0, which sets up Columbus versus LAFC for the MLS Cup Saturday, December 9th at 4 o'clock Eastern on Fox. So that should be a big one there. I apologize for reading the wrong information to you. I don't know why that just popped up. I hate that. And that's pretty much it. Not much else to talk about here on the show. NFL football is on tomorrow. I was getting more reading updates on my phone. I was just, because my computer at this point is not loading it up, not allowing it to load up here, not allowing me to open up my phone that way. Plus, my phone's about to die anyway, so I don't have much time left on here. But anyway, 244 will be on Monday, just to clarify that. You can follow me on my social media. I have Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok as my social media. Hit the like button, subscribe, would be much appreciated. And I'll see you all on Monday. It is now technically Sunday. It's officially midnight, and it's officially time for me to go to bed. So I am done with the podcast for now. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Watch plenty of football tomorrow. Drink a lot of beer. Spend time with the family. That's all I got to say. Life is too short to be angry over those stupid little things. Be kind to one another, and have a great holiday season. That's all I got to say. Have a great holiday season. Get ready for Hanukkah. It's coming up pretty soon. So for all the Jewish people out there, my fellow Jews, I'd like to wish you a happy Hanukkah. Everybody else, if it's ready for the holiday season, when Christmas is around the corner, you'll be hearing me saying Merry Christmas. The plan is for that Christmas week is there will be a show on, I'm going to say this right now, probably Christmas Eve. I will do a night review for all the football games. There will not be a show on Christmas Day. Although I might do one for Monday Night Football. I'm not sure yet. When that time comes, I'll just figure out the schedule. But until then, stay well, stay safe, and I will see you all technically tomorrow, because tomorrow will be Monday. because technically now is Sunday. All right. Good night. I'm out.